It's time to crank out an Angry Old Hoops podcast really quick, so there won't be a lot of graphics. There'll be a little bit, but this is mostly just going to be data coming at you in audio form. Speaking of audio, did you notice the sweet little track at the beginning? That is compliments of my man Uncommon Sense. So please go give him some love, give him some support, hell, even give him some donations. Thank you, Uncommon. That's good shit. I might just leave that on while I record here. All right, let's get to it. Is there something specific about the Jazz that LeBron is scared of? The Lakers and the Jazz have met 3 times this season. LeBron has only played in the game that was part of the in-season tournament, so he's missed 2 out of 3. Playing in the in-season tournament is self-explanatory since LeBron only cares about himself above all else and was after any BS accolade he could add to his resumes, like being the in-season tournament MVP, which, of course, he didn't deserve. I have a whole nother video breaking that down. Not just spewing my opinion, but providing facts. So that video is linked if you want to check it out. Now, the one game that LeBron did play was played in LA. Is LeBron afraid of Utah fans? I think some people have presented that, but I'm sorry. There are more places than just Utah that don't like LeBron James. And I actually saw plenty of Utah people wearing their LeBron James uniforms only to get snubbed by LeBron when they showed up to the game. So in another convincing win where the Lakers looked like a team, a cohesive unit, people are going to bring up the free throws, so let's address that first. Yes, the free throw count once again grossly favored the Lakers, but this is no different than any other game. So while it may be unfair, it doesn't make this a special situation. Like when the Lakers looked great against the Celtics with LeBron sitting out, many people came on the channel and commented that the Lakers won because of the free throws. Well, the free throws may be the difference in winning a game, and the free throws may favor the Lakers, but again, that's every Laker game. So you got to consider that the playing field is leveled. You know, that if that's the way it is every game, then we got to look at what is different. And what is different is how the guys look together. Suddenly they pass the eye test when LeBron isn't playing. Sometimes they pass the eye test when they don't pass him the ball and he is playing. Let's move on to looking at the leaderboard. I like to pop this up the next morning after games. First note that there were 13 games. That means there were 26 teams that played last night. Even with a big pool of competition, 26 teams, multiple players on the Lakers managed to show up on the leaderboards. Anthony Davis is in 3 categories. 4 if you count fantasy points, but I don't count fantasy points. AD is also usually in the blocks category as well, which would have given him 4 legit categories in one night, but not this night. He did have 2 blocks, but that wasn't enough to make the list on this particular night. So AD is top 5 in rebounds and points and free throws. You have another Laker making the top 5 in 2 categories that same night, Hachimura, points and 3-pointers. You also had D'Lo leading all players on 26 teams in the assist category with 17 assists. It's yet another reminder of what these players are capable of if LeBron isn't in their way. Now also look at the shooting percentage. You know, these aren't LeBron points. This isn't shoot until you finally reach a number. This is high shooting percentage. Rui's 36 came on 68% shooting, 75% from 3. AD's 37 came on 52% shooting, which is like what LeBron can get on a good night. That's a good night percentage for LeBron James when 90% of his shots are uncontested layups in order to get up to that 50-something percent. Reeves, 69%. Dinwiddie, 67%. D'Lo, 50%. Prince, 50%. Hayes and Castleton 100%. By the way, what did the Lakers give up for Dinwiddie? I can't find that they had to give up very much. And I looked at the roster, and all they did was add a piece. What the Lakers are able to do in terms of assembling rosters continues to be baffling. I dread the playoffs because this is an absolutely loaded team in terms of depth, skill, and size. Add to that the refs, and they will be hard to beat in a 7-game series. Let's look at that Lakers roster and what any one of those guys is capable of doing on a given night, especially if someone else isn't there. An opportunity to step up. I mean, we know D'Lo can go off for 30 plus. We know the AD can get well above 30 plus. Taurean Prince, in a limited role, is providing 20 points. I look at his history. He's scored 38 points in his career several times. Hachimura has shown us that he can do it. Gabe Vincent put up 28 against the Bucks last season. Spencer Dinwiddie has scored 41 points in his career. He's been in the 30s. Well, it scrolls all the way off the screen. So, yes, he's more than capable of doing it. Cam Reddish has had 30-plus point games just prior to coming to join the Lakers. Oh, there we go. Christian Wood scored 39 points against the Wizards on 3/21/22. I almost left out Reeves. However we may feel about him, he can ball, and he's broken the 30 mark several times and is in the 20s regularly. Let's look at the Warriors by comparison. Everybody's getting excited about Kuminga. I personally don't have faith in Kuminga, but hopefully I'll be wrong. But in any case, with all the hype around Kuminga, you'd think that he would be outscoring all those Lakers I just told you about. Kuminga's only broken 30 once. He's usually down at the 20-point mark. Gary Payton, too. I love Gary Payton, too. But he's not going to score you points. He's a defense guy. Podziemski's best game in his career is 25 points so far. He's usually down in the teens. Again, not to hate on him. I'm just providing some perspective of just how many weapons the Lakers have. You know, Klay Thompson will give you a big game 3 times a season. The rest of the time, you're hurting because of Klay. And he's a defensive liability on top of all of that. Draymond's not going to get you big points. Are you kidding me? On a really great night, he's gotten into the 20s. Oh, Draymond Green broke 30 points once. 31 points back in 2014. Kevon Looney, no. His digits will be higher in the rebound category than the points category. Chris Paul is done. Moses Moody, not applicable. Wiggins, in his entire career as a Warrior, has broken the 30 mark 4 times? Oh, 5 times. My mistake. In his entire time with the Warriors. Don't even make me mention Sarge. Trace Jackson Davis, well, Kerr would have to play him enough minutes for us to ever find out. You just get tired of seeing Curry practically alone out there. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a team full of role players and one star, but we're living in a time where LeBron has all these weapons carrying him while Curry is over there alone, and all we hear is how great LeBron is. Frankly, I can only depend upon LeBron to make sure that the Lakers don't achieve as much as they could achieve. Oh, he'll be there to gobble up the layups for the media to show on the highlight reels. He'll get his points, but never in the manner that his teammates just showed they're capable of getting points. High shooting percentages in a winning scenario. LeBron's pursuit of his stats is the only reason the Lakers don't have a better record right now. You'll never see that analyzed in the media. And let's move to LeMedia, who absolutely refused to acknowledge the possibility that the Lakers' success when LeBron isn't playing has something to do with LeBron not playing. Oh, they'll look at the game, they'll talk about the game, and they'll talk about the achievements of the players. And even though it's glaring and right there in the face of everybody, they won't acknowledge that maybe the team is better when LeBron isn't on the floor. Now listen, it's one thing if this was presented on the show and they presented facts and presented evidence the way that I do, showing that it isn't true. Hey, if you can show that it's not true, then fine. They don't even want to acknowledge that it's a topic. They just pretend like it's not a thing. Just ignore it, and hopefully no one else will talk about it. Pretend it isn't there, and it will go away. That is, admittedly, probably the best strategy that they could take in terms of not drawing any more attention to this than some of us here on YouTube have woken up and started pointing out to other people. So lastly, I saw on other channels the fanboys making excuses when LeBron's getting called out for load managing and skipping specific games. Why? They say things like, well, why can't a guy who has played for 20 plus years take some nights off? He's earned it. Well, he can. If you stop calling him Iron Man. If you stop calling him the greatest. If you stop claiming he's still top 5, sometimes they'll even say he's still number 1 in the NBA. You know, it's not like you guys are acknowledging that this is good for a 39-year-old. No. You want to just sneak in there that he is still elite. He is still top. You want to ignore that he played against the 8-46 Pistons right before sitting out this game. Not that the Jazz are a juggernaut, but 26-29 is a lot better record than 8-46. You have to also ignore that he's already getting plenty of rest in between games and, frankly, during games. On-court load management. If you also ignore that Michael Jordan played more games at a higher competitive level with less advantages at age 40. He didn't need the excuses. We didn't have to listen to announcers make up excuses or explain to us that what we were seeing was better than it was. Excuses are something new. Excuses were something that you used to be embarrassed about. Now people can't wait to provide their excuses. You need to acknowledge that this is a charity event being held for LeBron. And these are all little more than exhibition games. It's fine if he takes nights off if you acknowledge that you make excuses for a guy who fails to deliver, rather than it being what would be an inspirational case of a player who is truly defying father time with incredible clutch performances, battling through pain and showing up every night. You want us to acknowledge your king? Then provide inspiration, not excuses, rather than leaving fans disappointed who, well, frankly, if they're saving up their money to go see LeBron James, F them. Anyways, that's stupid. But, hey, the reality is he's letting people down. It is the acceptance of these excuses by the media, the embrace of always providing a way out rather than being held accountable, that has leaked down and infected those who watch and are influenced at home, especially those of influential age. They say things today that you would have been chased out of the park for back in the day. One guy the other day, about 25 years old, while my team was whipping his, started shouting things in frustration like, "You're lucky this isn't 3 years ago. We'd be winning." That's so weird. What an embarrassing thing to say. And like they don't even know that it's embarrassing. Today, that's just okay. Like, you would have gotten beaten up for saying things that dumb once upon a time. And in fact, that's how people learned to not act like stupid little bitches. There were consequences for it. But now people embarrass themselves constantly because that's acceptable. What the hell does 3 years ago have to do with right now? Just like the LeBron fans are talking about, look what he used to do. That does not change what's happening right now. Be in the now and own the situation. And the situation is that you are not good enough. I got to tell you, it's funny to be as old as I am and hear a kid say that he needs to be 22 to be able to perform well. I guarantee erasing 3 years from my age would do more to help me than it would do to help someone who's 25. In LeBron's case, it's not 3 years. We're talking 15 years ago. He's not good enough. Period. He hurts the team. Period. He shouldn't be on the court, and he should be ridiculed mercilessly by the media, rather than defended with every weak angle they can come up with. Not only are the fans being cheated, but the viewers are being infected with excusitis. You see, we're not just angry because we don't appreciate LeBron's game. We're angry because of everything that has come with it. Everything that had to be sacrificed in order to prop up the idea that this guy is something that he isn't. Another shout out to Uncommon. Again, go check him out. Thank you so much. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Let me know what you think in the comments.